Good afternoon. It is 3 o'clock. It is now time for the Masculinity, Blessing or Curse podcast. I am T.R. Coverson. I'm your host. I am here to talk about some issues of masculinity. And today I want to talk about simply a masculinity community for you, men. I want to talk about it because one of the challenges that men face, particularly as we age, is that we are lonely, that we don't have a community of brothers that we are involved with. We start to separate ourselves. Maybe if we're married, we have our marriage partner. But in my opinion, it's still important for you to engage in the camaraderie of other men. If you are a military person, you understood what it was like to be a part of that unit. If you are a athlete of any kind, you understand what it was like to be a part of that team. It was that thing that joined you together, and you developed a relationship with each other, and therefore a dependency on each other, because it was your goal. You had to unite with each other because there was an opposing team on the other side of the field that you were at war, if you will, if I can use that term, at war with. And you recognized that you had to develop your own talents to its perfection because you knew that your talent would be necessary to save the person to your right and to your left. And that person was the same for you. So it helped you to develop that sense of brotherhood. Men, by and large, develop our relationships because we are in a warfare, if you will, with each other against something else. There is some mission, something that we want to accomplish. And by doing that, by submitting our egos and our pride, laying those aside, because there is something better that we need to accomplish. We are at a blueprint of, wow, our country is taking a few black eyes. I'll leave it right there. But if we are able to develop the community of men that stand up, that resist it, and it's going to be important for us individually, but as our communities see men stand up, and I will say particularly men of color, see us stand up for issues that have the ideas about us has been thrown aside. But communities are important. A male community, for a number of reasons. I'll mention a few. Validation, I think, is very important. I am a part of a group at our church. We call ourselves Mighty Men of Valor. Now, that's a term that's taken out of the 6th and 7th chapter of Judges, and throughout the Bible, you'll see that term. But I use that one as kind of a cornerstone. It was Gideon who thought less of himself, but God, an angel, spoke to him and said, "You are a mighty man of valor." He had very low images or perspectives of himself. And that's often the case with us because of our childhood, because of the people that we've been around, because of things, because of life. And you have very low opinions of yourself. Well, that angel came, and it was the voice of God saying to him, "You are a mighty man of valor." And warfare was on the docket for him. As we assimilate or associate ourselves with a purpose, we start to rally around that, and we are validated in that particular circumstance. Hand in glove with that is appreciation. To be appreciated. There's a comedy sketch that is done by, I'll think of his name in a moment. But it says, what we get, what the father gets is the big piece of chicken. Mom gets the praise of the dinner, and dad gets the big piece of chicken. Well, sometimes to be appreciated for more than that, oftentimes he is shoved under the carpet. I think it's important that there are some issues that men face. Encouragement, certainly. We spend a lot of time seeking to become the, watch this term I'll use, the Bud Life of the party. How many can you throw down and still stand? Or whatever that situation is. But oftentimes the beer, the whatever, will disguise something that really is an issue. I've told you before that I've lost 2 friends to suicide. We were friends in that we knew each other's sports teams, we fellowship, socialized, etc. But there are some things going on under the surface that we were not talking about. We have to have venues to be able to get to those. You've heard me say in the past, men need to have, in my opinion, at least 3 other guys that you have very close relationships with, that you can share with the hurts. Because there's a long list of people that you pour into, you're giving yourself of. But usually there's a very short list of people that pour into you. You need people to pour into you. And that's why mentoring becomes important. Whatever age we are, we need mentors. Chris Rock is the name of the comedian that says Chris Rock, that dad gets the big piece of chicken and that's all. But we all need to be mentored, no matter what. And don't limit yourself to the people, only the people you just grew up with. Because oftentimes you're in that same circle and you don't grow, you don't expand what you know, your environment, your understanding, your appreciation, your wisdom. That comes from some diversity of thought. So you need to have other people around you or who are in different disciplines that allow you to expand the way you think, expand the way you worship, the way you pray. I'm a Christian, and so that is an element of me that's there. And so even if that is part of your community, that Christian community. In some of my backgrounds podcasts, you've heard me talk about, there's a book by Murray, David Murrow, Why Men Hate Going to Church. We have to put masculinity back into it, back into our lives, without judgment. Take the judgment away. But we need that to be able to mentor each other. And if we can mentor each other, we can therefore mentor the Joshuas that follow us. If we are part of the Moses generation, the Joshuas that are behind us need to hear some answers from the experiences that we have had. And sometimes we've made mistakes. There's no reason that the Joshuas behind me ought to make the same mistakes that I made. I should be open enough, willing enough to share those with him. And so those communities are necessary for us. And then there's some things that Joshua could teach Moses. We live in a technological environment that has just moved. No longer are we, if you type X number of words a minute, big deal. Who cares? You can dictate everything that you say now. It's a different world. We also need to be physically challenged. Challenge each other physically. I've often said, I say to people often, and however vain it might sound when I say this, it's not intended to be that, but I don't want to be, I'll fight it, the idea of being old. I'm fighting it. Getting older, I don't have a problem with. Getting older is simply a movement of the sun rises, sun sets, day passes, you're getting older. The concept of being old is something that I hear as a mental fog. You've decided I'm going to stay postured in this place where our only discussion is the pain that we have, or the pills that we take, or what have I don't want it. So to encourage each other to exercise, to eat better, get off the couch. We don't gain our purpose on the couch. Our passion, our calling has to be greater than hearing what the couch is saying. To encourage each other to do that thing that creates the legacy for the next generation. Past few days, last week, I spent some time with my grandson. He graduated from kindergarten. He's 5 years old. And I had a chance to spend some time with him, to read books to him. He's excited and excitable. But it's in carving a place in his life that you talk to him, that you listen to him, that you play with him, that you tell jokes to him, you roll on the floor with him. You're developing a relationship so that that legacy continues. Men, play with him. Get on the floor with him. Take some time. Another brother I was in services today and was talking about some issues that he's having personally. And he said, I don't like to talk about it because I don't want to bring anyone else down. Well, sometimes. And that's why we have those three guys that are close to us, because we pour into each other. Iron sharpening iron. At any given moment, you're the strong one. Or maybe not. Any given moment. Any given time. We need to be able to share. I had a friend, and we shared some things. I had some health issues. We both do. And it's in the course of sharing the health issues that you start to understand, wait a minute, I'm not the only one dealing with this issue. You're not. You're not. Whatever it is, it's nothing new under the sun. Men, we need the community. We need each other badly to get through this. Our marriages are fragile. You may have done well all of the time that the children were in the house because you didn't have a chance to think about yourselves as man and wife. You were mother and father, and you were doing all of those things to get the kids ready. Well, now if the kids are gone, now there's a person that maybe you met 30 years ago, 40 years ago. You lived in the same house for the same period of time, but your focus had been specifically on the children. Well, now it's just you. Well, let's talk about it. What are the advantages? What do? How do we circle the wagons to continue to have romance in our relationships? These are fragile things. The barbershop used to be that place where men would go. And men talked about everything. Right, wrong, good, bad. The barbershop was the place, or used to be in our community. It's not the case anymore. It's not the case. So we have to be intentional about setting up those communities so that we win our young men back. So that we win men away from addictions. So that we win our marriage. We have to eat better. Live. We have to be still people of purpose. Well, it is the Independence Day weekend. I've had my own opinions about that. I am obviously a person of color, and we now are in the wake of dealing with some very frustrating, aggravating thoughts of the erasure of the accomplishments of people of color. And that's part of the community as well. That you're able to embrace the things that are important in your community and invite others to it so that we can all grow. It's that potluck thing going, right? See, in the potluck, everybody brings the dish that that's their specialty, and in doing so, everybody gets served. We can all be great because we can all serve. We don't have to be egotistical. We can all serve. I want you to consider starting a community or becoming a part of a community of men where you develop some rules, and I'm in touch with a few of them. So if you'd like, just put comments below and we can get you connected. But in the area where you are, men, connect, pray, encourage. You never know. We're all going through something. Trust me, we all are. To have some encouragement with each other, from each other. Please, I ask you, if you would, to subscribe so that you be notified each week. We broadcast every Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern, and I'd love to have you. Love to hear your comments. Hopefully something said or done encourages you to get off the couch and get into a community. God bless you, and God keep real.